The winning blueprint presents.
In the lab room.
The weekend.
The weekend that was.
Next up on the docket was a game that I was really looking forward to watching, and I was not disappointed. I was very entertained by this football game, and I felt like I was going to be. Are you not entertained? Yes, I was very entertained. Thank you for asking. I was very entertained. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers traveled to Oakland to take on the Raiders in a matchup of 2, 3, and 4 teams who have been playing good football of late, each winners of 2 straight, each looking to climb up to 500, each looking to solidify themselves as real players in their respective conferences. And so this was a big game for both teams. Although the Raiders were home in this game, I went out on a limb and picked Tampa Bay because Tampa Bay showed me something last week on Thursday Night Football when they went into Minnesota and absolutely jacked up and smacked around the Minnesota Vikings. Their own home. The Vikings, up until that point, had not lost a game in Mall of America Stadium this season. And the Buccaneers didn't care. They simply did not care. They went into Mall of America Stadium, smacked the Minnesota Vikings around, smacked them up and down the field, got after Christian Ponder, and scored 34 points en route to a blowout victory on the road. And what that told me is that they don't mind going into someone else's house and disrespecting them and leaving with the W. That means a lot to me because anybody can win at home. It's not hard to win at home. It takes a real team to go on the road and absolutely disrespect someone. And not just win, but actually blow them out. Actually go in, smack them around, disrespect them to the point where the game's not even close at the end. And that's what they did to the Minnesota Vikings. And what that said to me is, this team is for real. They can score points. Greg Schiano has this team playing much more disciplined football. They're not self-destructing. They're not turning the football over. They're not shooting themselves in the foot. And when they get opportunities to score, you best believe they're putting 7s on the board. They're not putting up 3s. They're putting up 7s. You got a chance to win every single week. And that's what the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have now. A chance to win every single week because they can score points. They can score them with the best of them. And we saw flashes of this early in the season when they played the New York Giants in New York, when they put up some points against their New York Giants team, but they weren't able to come away with the victory. But I thought that was just a flash in the pan performance. Thought that was one of those fluke performances where they just had a hot day against a defense that was struggling because they turned around and for the next several weeks weren't able to do anything on offense. I mean, we watched them against the Cowboys. They were anemic on offense. I mean, I was questioning whether Greg Schiano realized that there are 4 quarters in the game and that, hey, you do need to actually try and throw the football here because the game is actually about to be over. And if you don't throw the football here, you're going to lose the game. I was questioning if he even got it as a head coach, if he even knew the rules to the game. Now, they're scoring points. They're scoring them in bunches, and they're going into your house and disrespecting you, scoring points, slapping you around, running the football on you, jacking up your quarterback, and they're leaving with a W. I mean, they're playing really good football right now. And so I picked them to go and beat the Raiders on the road because I feel like they're a better football team than the Oakland Raiders. And they proved me right. They went into Oakland, and they scored 42 points. Now, did I see them scoring 42 points? No, I didn't. I'm not going to lie to you. I didn't see them scoring 42 points. I didn't see that outburst coming. But what I did see them doing was being able to outscore the Oakland Raiders. Did I see Doug Martin? Did I see Dougie going off? A.K.A. Doug Martin, the rookie running back out of Boise State. Did I see him going bananas at home? He's from Oakland. He's from the Bay Area. Did I see him showing up and showing out and showing off in front of the home crowd? Did I see that coming? No, I'm not going to lie to you. I saw him having a productive game helping his team win. But did I see him going for 2 bills on this Oakland Raiders defense? No. It was funny because I have a buddy of mine who's a Raiders fan, and he didn't believe in Doug Martin. And I told him, watch this guy. He's for real. He's the truth. And he said, I don't buy it. I don't like this guy. I don't think he's that good. He's slow. I said, okay, well, you'll see. My grandma always told me, those who don't hear, feel. Okay, well, you'll feel them then. Since you don't believe me, you'll feel them. Now, I didn't think it was going to be that bad. I didn't think he was going to be sending earthquakes, through the Coliseum. I didn't think he was going to do that. Just thought he was going to show up, help his team get a W. No, he was outstanding in this football game. Nothing short of remarkable was the performance that he put forth on Sunday. And we're talking about well over 200 yards. I told my buddy, all I care about is the 200. You keep the change. He had 2 and some change. You keep the change. I just care about the 200. That's something right there. I'd love to know where he stands in the rookie pantheon of rushing efforts for a rookie in a season. A single game rushing record for a rookie is what? What's the total? Because he has to be somewhere up there. If he's not the leader after yesterday's performance, that was quite a performance that he put on against the Oakland Raiders. We're talking about runs of 33, 42, and 70. I mean, we're talking about some big runs here. We're not talking about some 7-yard touchdowns and 11 yards. We're talking about some big grown man runs. Runs where he had to outrun folks to the end zone. And my friend was talking about he didn't see the speed. Well, he saw the speed on Sunday because he outran some guys. He outran some angles. He outran some angles. He outran some guys. And if it's one thing that the Raiders have, speed. Speed! They can run. But they couldn't catch Doug Martin from behind. He wouldn't allow it. So that was a very demoralizing performance if you are the Oakland Raiders. You had a shot to go to 4-4 in the season and not only be relevant in the AFC conference as a whole, you had a chance to be a relevant player in the AFC West. I mean, you get this win at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, you go to 4-4 in the season. What that means for you is that you're tied for second with the San Diego Chargers, a team that you have to play one more time, and you're only a game out of the division lead of the Denver Broncos, who you have to play once more as well, and you get them at home. So you would have been right there in the thick of things in the AFC West. Instead, you dropped this one at home in a very egregious fashion. I mean, you really threw up on yourself in this game. You really showed your true colors. You allowed a running back to come in there and just stomp all over you. And it was right up the heart of your defense. It's nothing more demoralizing than a running back to just take it up the middle and go. It's one thing to get it on the outside. It's one thing to have a guy miss a tackle here and get some good block. You just got gashed up the middle of your defense. I mean, Tommy Kelly and Richard Seymour got moved out of the way. Get out the way. Moved them out of the way, and Dougie did the rest. So, hats off to Tampa Bay. They really went into Oakland, and they put the clamps on them. 42 points, that's going to win you a whole bunch of ball games. Defense wasn't its sharpest. They gave up some plays to the Raiders. But when you score 42 points, not many teams in this league are going to be able to do. The thing that the Buccaneers have shown me over the last several weeks is that we can score points. Really don't care who the opposition is. Don't really care where we are, whether we're home or on the road. We can score points. And it doesn't matter. How do you want it? We can give it to you through the air or on the ground. How you want it? And the Raiders chose the ground this week. And so they said, okay, well, we'll deliver it to you on the ground then. Dougie, go to work. And that's what he did. And the Raiders, for as valiant of an effort as it was, you can't lose at home giving up 42 points if you want to be a serious contender in your conference, in your division. If you want teams to respect you, you can't give up 42 points at home. You can't do it. And so that was demoralizing. that was a tough loss for the Oakland Raiders because the Buccaneers said, hey, I'm ready to take that step. I'm here now. I'm ready to take that next step to being a contender in the NFC. I'm ready. And the Raiders says, not so much. I'm not ready yet. I'm not ready to be a relevant player in the AFC. I'm not ready to be a relevant player in the AFC West. I'm still learning what it means to win consistently. I'm still learning what it means to protect our house. I'm still learning what it means to get it done in a key situation against a team that is just as hungry as I am. And so the Raiders have to go back to the drawing board. They're 3-5 on the season after dropping this one 42-32 at home, being gashed on the ground. And even when they tried to stop the pass, Vincent Jackson got behind them. Their old nemesis from San Diego, kind of got this thing jump-started with a couple of... He had 84 yards in the game. It all came on one drive. So, that kind of tells you the type of day it was for the Raiders. They couldn't stop anybody. And so they were gashed in different areas, and they are the losers in this game, 42-32. Buccaneers go to 4-4 on the season. And now they're at 500 for the first time since week 2 where they were 1-1 on the season. And now they got new life. They're buying into what Greg Schiano is selling. They're a more disciplined football team. They get it. And now they have confidence. They feel like they can score with the best of them. And if you're the Atlanta Falcons, the New Orleans Saints and the Carolina Panthers shouldn't scare you the most in the NFC South. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers should scare you the most in that division. You haven't played them yet this season. They can score points. You better be careful, these Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They'll be the one to stop you if you're not careful. Very impressive win by the Buccaneers as they get it done on the road, 42-32 against the Oakland Raiders. Next up on the docket was another game that was very intriguing to watch. I was very pleased with this football game. I was very entertained with this football game. This was a fun game to watch. I'm speaking of the Minnesota Vikings traveling to Seattle to take on the undefeated Seattle Seahawks at home. The Seattle Seahawks have not lost at CenturyLink Field this season. They're a perfect 3-0 on the season at home. And they're a team that gets it done at home. They're a tough ball club to deal with when they're at home. And the Minnesota Vikings found that out on Sunday. Now, I tell you what. Had they had better quarterback play, speaking of the Minnesota Vikings, had they had better quarterback play, they probably can get away with a win here. Adrian Peterson was out of this world in this game. He was out of his mind. He was magnificent in this game. He was the Adrian Peterson of old. The things he was doing in this game, nothing short of spectacular. The stops, the goals, the acceleration, the strength. It was all on display in this game. He was the Adrian Peterson that we all fell in love with before the knee injury. He's back. If you ever question whether he was totally back, he's back. Go watch this game if you didn't get a chance to take a look at it. He's back. There's no doubt about it. And he was really taking it to this Seattle Seahawks defense. He single-handedly tried to help his team win this football game. He tried to put this Minnesota Vikings team on his back and carry him to a win. It wasn't enough. He needed more help. Him and Percy Harvin can't do it alone. The problem with the Minnesota Vikings is they don't have enough talent. And see, they were driving in the fast lane. They were acting as if they were a Porsche early in this season. They were doing 100. They were all the way in the left lane, and they were taking off. They started off the season 5-1. They were going 100. We all know that the Vikings are really a minivan. They're a soccer mom van. They're not supposed to be doing 100 on the interstate. So they started to slow down. They got in the middle lane. They were doing about 75, and that's still way too fast. They were driving like a Honda Civic. You're not a Honda Civic either. You're a van. You're a Chrysler. You're a family van. Get in your lane. And so now they're getting over it. Now they're doing the speed limit. Now they're starting to understand, yeah, this is who we really are. They're coming back to earth. And it's showing. And the main reason why they're a minivan and not a Honda Civic or a Porsche is because of their quarterback position. They're not talented. All they have on offense is Percy Harvin, Adrian Peterson, and you sprinkle in a little bit of Kyle Rudolph, who I think they don't utilize enough. That's it on offense. Not much more to speak of on that offensive side of football. Now on defense, they're building some stuff. I like what they're doing on defense. I like Brian Roberson. I love Jared Allen. I like what they're doing in the secondary. I love their young corner, Josh Robinson. I love Harrison Smith. I like what they're building out there on defense. They have some things to play with on the defensive side of the football. But it's not enough. It's not enough. And the main reason it's not enough is because Christian Ponder is not getting it done at the quarterback position. Early in the season when they were winning games, he was augmenting that running game. He was augmenting what the defense was doing. He wasn't turning it over. He wasn't making poor decisions with the football. He was completing more passes. And when plays were there to be made, he was making them. Whether it was with his feet or with his arm, he was making them. Now, he is putting lackluster performance after lackluster performance together. This is 3 straight weeks of some really bad football, some atrocious football from Christian Ponder. Go figure, 3 straight losses. I mean, he's not playing good football right now. And we're talking 11 of 22 for 63 yards, no touchdowns, 1 interception. I mean, this was check down city. You know, back to the flats, tight end to the flats. Receiver to the flats, back to the flats. Tight end to the flats, tight end to the flats, back to the flats, receiver to the flats. I mean, it was check down city. And he was getting pressure. So some of these times he had to check it down. But it was like I was becoming nauseous watching this game. Because he was doing the same thing over and over again. Back to the flats. You know, Christian Ponder under duress. Throw it to a tight end in the flats. It was, throw it to the fullback in the flats. It was becoming a trend. And the Seahawks started to see he's not pushing the ball down the field. We're going to start compacting things. We're going to bring everybody up and make him beat us. Because Adrian Peterson was destroying the Seahawks defense. He was absolutely destroying it. He was Adrian Peterson. That's my tribute to Rich Eisen. He was Adrian Peterson in this game. He was killing them. He was killing them. Unfortunately, his quarterback was killing them. Killing them. Stopping them from winning this football game. Sad to watch because Adrian Peterson and Percy Harvin put forth gladiator-like efforts in this game, but it wasn't enough because their quarterback didn't help them out. And what makes it even that much tougher to watch is they look across the field at a rookie quarterback who's getting it done in Russell Wilson for the Seattle Seahawks. He's doing for the Seattle Seahawks what the Vikings want Christian Ponder to do. We're not asking you to go out and win a football game. Just complement what the running game is doing. That's all Russell Wilson does. He complements what Beast Mode, a.k.a. Marshawn Lynch, is doing in that run game. No, Marshawn Lynch is carrying the Seattle Seahawks on offense. And Russell Wilson is augmenting that. He's keeping defenses honest. You can't load up on Marshawn Lynch because as soon as you bring that 8th defender in the box, they go up top. Whether it's Golden Tate or Sidney Rice, they're going up top on you. And he throws one of the most beautiful deep balls in all of the National Football League. So if you want to bring that 8th defender down into the box, be my guest. But you will pay for it. And when they get in the red zone, he uses his legs and his athleticism to scramble and buy time and find a receiver in the end zone. So instead of them kicking field goals all the time, they're getting 7. And so Russell Wilson does his job. He does his part to help the Seattle Seahawks win football games. And that's what Christian Ponder is not doing. And so if you're the Vikings, this one hurt that much more because you looked across the field at what you want your quarterback to be. And he's not doing it right now. He was doing it early in the season. He's not doing it now. And you're losing football games because of it. And so this was a game that you could have won if your quarterback was playing better, but he wasn't. And so you lost this game 30-20 on the road against the Seahawks. This was a physical football game. The most physical game I saw all season. This was a physical football game. I mean, guys were getting helmets knocked off. It was some loud thuds. I mean, guys were actually going after it in this game. I mean, I was impressed with the sheer physicality of this football game. I mean, I had to take a step back because this game was so physical. The physical nature of this game was surprising because I didn't expect. And see, the Seahawks, they play a physical brand of football. That's what they do. They're an imposing defense. They want to impose their will on you. They want to out-physical you. They want to break you down as an offense. They want you to feel them on defense. And so I thought that the Minnesota Vikings were up for the challenge. They came into this game, and they weren't going to back down. Adrian Peterson set the tone. He ran over Earl Thomas early in the game. Earl Thomas got up. He was steaming because he just been ran over by Adrian Peterson. Don't be mad. That's what Adrian Peterson does. That's what AD does. He runs over people. You're just a small safety. You're a 5'10 safety. You got ran over. It happens. But that kind of set the tone for the game. After that, everybody wanted in on the action. Everybody wanted to hit somebody hard. Percy Harvin had a chance to run out of bounds on a little pass out in the flats. And I thought he was going to just take a little step out of bounds. Man, he lowered his shoulder on a Seahawks, the secondary defender, and they both smacked each other. It was a loud thud, and I'm like, woo! Percy, you ain't playing, man. You want in on this action. It was a physical game, and I loved it. Every second of it. It was beautiful. This was a good football game. And this Seahawks team is tough at home. When they got it done 30-20, they're now 5-4 in the season. They're hanging around in that NFC West. Meanwhile, Minnesota Vikings are 5-4, and they're going in the opposite direction because they're now third in the division. They went from being in second to third. The Packers, they caught up with them. They got even. Now they're leaving. The Packers are now 6-3. They've taken over sole possession of second place. And so now the Minnesota Vikings find themselves in third. And if they're not careful, they'll find themselves in the position that many of us coming into the season thought they would be all season long, which is in last place in the NFC North. Because all of a sudden, the Detroit Lions are playing solid football. They're getting their wits together. They're starting to score points on offense. Now they're 4-4 in the season. So they're just a game back of the Vikings who haven't had a bye week yet. So when they finally decide to sit down and take a bye week, and the Lions get it done on that bye week, all of a sudden they're tired now. And so if you're the Vikings, you got to start watching out because this thing could get out of control and you could find yourself in last place if you're not careful. Next up, as we continue on our quest to go slate skating on the weekend that was, sees the matchup between the Pittsburgh Steelers and the New York Giants. Two teams that over the last 5 years have probably won about 3 Super Bowls. I mean, these teams get it done. These two teams are model franchises and are examples of how you get it done in the National Football League. Both of them have quarterbacks that were selected in the 2004 draft. And so they're also tied at the hip because of their quarterbacks that they have. And this is a matchup that every 4 years they always visit that 2004 draft. And so this was a good football game. And I was so disappointed in it. This was the game that stopped me from having a chance to win the football pool. I could blame it on the Redskins, but I choose not to because the Giants had this football game. And this was the game that stopped me from going to the football pool. I had a stellar week. I'm not going to sit here and complain. I went 11-2 over the weekend. I have a chance to go 12-2 this weekend if I can get it done on Monday Night Football. But I had a chance to be 12-1 with a chance to go 13-1 and a chance to win the football pool if I could have got this win. And the Giants let me down. And I'm very disappointed in them. I thought that Eli Manning and this offense bogged down at a time where they had control of this football game. They had opportunities to put the Pittsburgh Steelers away. They squandered them. And they deserved to lose this football game. The Steelers played the better game down the stretch. I dubbed Eli Manning 2-minute Manning because he usually gets it done in crunch time. Well, he didn't get it done in crunch time this time. He let me down. The Giants offense let me down. And I don't want to focus so much on what the Giants weren't able to do as much as what the Steelers were able to do. This Steelers team is turning their season around. They're starting to hit their stride, and they're starting to get it. Early on this season, I wasn't sure that they were getting it. You know, Ben Roethlisberger was playing such good football, and his defense was letting the Steelers down repeatedly. And it's like they couldn't get on the same page when the offense was clicking, the defense would have an off game. When the defense was clicking, the offense would have an off game. And so wasn't sure if they were going to ever be able to get on the same page and find that happy medium that it was going to take to have the Steelers playing the football that we're accustomed to the Steelers playing. But they seem to have found the formula now. And they're playing good football. Now all they have to do is get healthy. And they're slowly trying to work towards doing that. But it's a process. One that the Steelers are not good at. Routinely, annually, this team is banged up at key positions. This year, Troy Polamalu can't seem to find a way to get on the field. Every now and again, James Harrison and Lamar Woodley tag team in and out. Both of them have played the last couple of weeks. They're looking to solidify that defense. James Harrison still isn't right. He still isn't having an impact on the game. Lamar Woodley is coming along. He had a big play in this game. A forced fumble of Eli Manning really changed this game. And I really feel like the Steelers, if they can just start playing solid Pittsburgh Steelers defense, they're going to be a dangerous team again this season. After looking like a team that was trying to miss the playoffs early in this season. Looking like a team that didn't have direction. I should have known that Mike Tomlin was going to right the ship. I love Mike Tomlin. I think he's one of the best coaches in the National Football League. And he's showing it. He's getting it done. And they're playing solid football. And the play that changed this game was with the Steelers trailing 20-10 in the fourth quarter. Ben Roethlisberger throws a simple crossing route to Mike Wallace, stands back and watches Mike Wallace do the rest. They call him 60 minutes. Well, it only took him 7 seconds to get in the end zone as he ran past the whole entire New York Giants defense as if they were standing still. Got a couple of blocks, and he did the rest. He just ran by everybody else. And that changed the game because even if the Giants hold the Steelers to a field goal on that possession, they're still up a touchdown, they still have the momentum. They give up 7 there, all of a sudden, they feel the Steelers breathing down their necks. Now it's tight. Now you can see the Giants starting to press. Now they're feeling the pressure that the Steelers are applying to them now. They go 3 and out, the Steelers get the football back, and they march right down the field again and get another touchdown. Now they're up 24-20 in this football game. After trailing for the majority of this game, after being down as much as 13 in this football game, they scratched and clawed their way back, and now they're up 24-20. Now the Giants have the ball in their court. Now they have to go make a play. And I was expecting 2-minute Manning to make a play. I was wrong. He did nothing. The Steelers defense put the clamps on him, strangled that Giants offense, and came out with the victory, 24-20. They got it done. The Steelers are getting it done. And really, if you want my honest opinion, they look like the best team in that division in the AFC North. I'm not buying the Baltimore Ravens right now. I think that they're a team right now that's searching for identity. We've always known the Ravens to be a team that's defensive-oriented, that can get it done on offense, but they're powered by their defense. They're no longer that team. If you have a good offense, you can score on that Ravens defense. And sometimes they get away from Ray Rice. They're running that no huddle with Cam Cameron. And sometimes I think they get away from, I think they lose sight of what makes them the Baltimore Ravens, which is Ray Rice. And so I think that right now the Pittsburgh Steelers have a better handle of who they are. They're starting to run the ball again. They're starting to play Pittsburgh Steelers football. They're getting, production out of the running game. Ben Roethlisberger, he had a subpar game. He made some bad throws. He held on to the ball too long, took some sacks in his game. But when they needed him the most, Ben Roethlisberger was Ben Roethlisberger. And if you're the Steelers, that's all you need. Give me a running game and Ben Roethlisberger at his best. Sprinkle in that Pittsburgh Steelers defense, and you got the winning formula for Pittsburgh Steelers football. And I'll tell you what, this Steelers team is coming on at the right time. And now they got the Ravens coming up here about 2 times in the next 5 weeks. It's about to be real for the Steelers and the Ravens. And this is their chance to really take it to the Baltimore Ravens. The Ravens won the division last year, and I think the Steelers are really in a prime position to take that division back and take what they feel like is rightfully theirs. It's going to be interesting to see what goes on in the AFC North in the next month and a half or so. But the Steelers went on the road in their biggest road test to date. And they got it done against the New York Giants, who have been playing blistering football of late. Well, Pittsburgh Steelers cooled them off 24-20. As they got the victory, they moved to 5-3 on the season due to the Steelers. Meanwhile, the Giants dropped to 6-3 on the season. And after playing some lights-out football, winners of 5 straight, the Giants, they took one on the chin. That was a tough one to swallow, especially being that you were up 10 in the fourth quarter. Don't see the Giants surrender leads like that often and not come away with the W, but they didn't get it done. The Steelers out-executed them in the fourth quarter. They got the victory. Now the Steelers are 5-3 on the season, and the Giants are 6-3 on the season. Our Sunday night matchup pitted the Dallas Cowboys on the road against the Atlanta Falcons, the 7-0 only undefeated team in the NFL, Atlanta Falcons. And so this was a great matchup because, again, the Dallas Cowboys are one of these teams that just when you think they've hit rock bottom and they can't pull a victory out, they go out and get it done against all odds. This was that type of football game. You thought, here they are at 3-4. They're at a crossroads. You know, Jerry Jones is in the media every 5 seconds talking about they need to win, they need to do this, they need to do that. He's always talking about Tony Romo and the quarterback situation, how he supports Tony Romo, this, that, and the other. And, you know, the Dallas media and really the media around the country is always talking about the Dallas Cowboys. They're America's team for a reason. And they get a lot of publicity, sometimes even when it's not warranted. But this is one of those games where everyone counts the Cowboys out and they rise to the occasion and beat a team that they probably shouldn't beat in an environment where they probably shouldn't be able to go in and get it done. And so this was one of those games that I thought maybe the Dallas Cowboys might step up, rise to the occasion, and get it done. They do it once every season. They beat someone where you're like, no way the Cowboys get this one done. And they get it done. And so I thought this could be it. This could be the defining moment of the Cowboys season. If they're able to go into the Georgia Dome, hand the Falcons their first loss of the season, even up their record at 4-4, this could be the defining moment of their season. But it wasn't to be. That wasn't the case. They went in, they had opportunities. I questioned the game plan. I really questioned what the Cowboys were trying to accomplish in this football game. Tony Romo is your best player. You're only going to go as far as Tony Romo takes you. I wasn't understanding why the ball wasn't in his hands more. There's a lot of questionable play calling in this game. And look, the defense did their part. You know, they held down this high-powered Atlanta Falcons offense. They limited them to under 20 points. I mean, the Falcons had to scratch and claw to get 19. Now, granted, you know, Matt Bryant, who has been a consistent kicker for these Falcons for, you know, the last 4 or 5 seasons, he missed 2 kicks in this game. That's uncharacteristic of Matt Bryant. Nonetheless, he was still 4 of 6. He still pounded through 4 field goals. But normally, in situations like this, he's 6 of 6. And so if you add those field goals, maybe the Falcons win this game comfortably. Who knows? But he didn't. This game was a lot closer. The Cowboys had opportunities in this game to make some plays, and they didn't get it done. And they didn't get it done. They simply did not get it done. They had a chance to get a stop at the end of this ball game, to give themselves a chance to get the ball back with a chance to win the football game. They didn't get it done. Orlando Scandrick had a chance to tackle Jacquizz Rodgers in the flats on 3rd and 6. He let him run for about 23 yards. He missed the tackle. It was right there. It's an easy tackle to make, really. It wasn't like he was coming at him full speed and he had to break down and he made a move and he made a miss. No, he caught the ball. He was standing right there, maybe 2 yards away. All he had to do was shoot his cuffs. Take his legs out. Falcons have to punt. He's going to be 2 yards short of the first down. You get the ball back with a chance to win. Instead, he missed the tackle. Falcons extend the drive. They get the Falcons to 3rd down again. And Orlando Scandrick, again, is the victim of a play that extends the drive. This time, he holds Roddy White. And there was no denying this was a hold. I mean, you looked at Roddy White's jersey after the play, and it looked like he was trying to tear the jersey off. So Orlando Scandrick, if you want a scapegoat for this game for the Cowboys, is that guy. But he didn't lose this football game. The Cowboys just didn't execute on the offensive end in this game. I thought they had opportunities early in this game to really score points. They settled for field goals. When you settle for field goals in this league against good teams, probably not going to win, especially when you're on the road. I said it in this program earlier. I'll say it again. Field goals don't win games. Touchdowns do. Now, in this case, for the Falcons, field goals won this game. They kicked 4 of them. The Cowboys were only able to kick 2. That proved to be the difference. Both teams scored a touchdown in this game. But the Falcons were able to kick 4 field goals. The Cowboys were only able to muster 2. And that proved to be the difference. The Falcons are just so sound in everything that they do. They run the football well. We saw what Matt Ryan and those receivers can do. I mean, Julio Jones and Roddy White put on a display on how to run routes, catch the football, and help your team win games last night. I mean, both of them went over 100 yards. Both of them had catches in critical situations. Matt Ryan was not flawless, but he was close. I mean, he was 24-34 for over 300 yards. No touchdowns, no interceptions. He was just steady as ever. And they just do everything well. They don't, commit a lot of penalties. They don't shoot themselves in the foot. They don't turn the football over a lot. They don't do many things to hinder themselves throughout the course of a ball game. And anytime you can do that, anytime you can stay clean, you're going to have a chance to win a lot of football games. And that's what the Falcons have done this season, and that's why they're 8-0. Because they don't beat themselves. You have to beat them. They're not going to beat themselves. They're not going to help you out. They're not your friends. So I'm not going to help you beat me. I'm not your friend. So I'm not going to help you. You want to beat me? You're going to have to do it on your own. You won't get any help from me. And that's the attitude that you're supposed to have in the National Football League. Not going to help you beat me. You want to beat me? Beat me on your own. But everyone's going to question the Falcons and the seriousness of this Falcons team until they get it done in the playoffs. I question whether the Falcons are for real, because I want to see them do it in the playoffs. But the way they're playing right now and the maturation I've seen in this offense tells me they can get it done. And what's even more important is this defense is playing ball this year. In years past, this defense was always suspect. This defense is playing ball now. And if they can just find a way to stay healthy, avoid the injury bug, and just stay consistent on defense, they got a shot. They have a legitimate shot at doing some damage in the NFC come playoff time. But this was a big win at home. They've had 8 tests to this point, and they've passed all 8 tests. So if you're the Atlanta Falcons, feel good about yourself. You're 8-0. You got it done at home against a hungry Dallas Cowboys team who knew that their backs were against the wall and needed it. And you were able to stop them from getting it done. You win the football game, 19-13. You go to 8-0. The Dallas Cowboys, on the other hand, lost this football game, had opportunities, didn't get it done. And so, again, they find themselves going back to the drawing board, asking themselves what happened. Why didn't we win this football game? In another close game that they could have easily have won if they would have executed better, but they didn't. And so they lose this game 13-19, and they go to 3-5 on the season. And they're running out of time in the NFC East. And on a day where the Redskins lose, the Giants, more importantly, lose, and you have an opportunity to get one step closer to a Giants team that you already beat one time this season, you blew it. You squandered an opportunity to get yourself back into the divisional race. Because, like I said before, I don't think 2 teams are coming from the NFC East. I don't. I think it's going to be one team. And that one team has to win the division. And right now, that team looks overwhelmingly to be the Giants. But we all know the struggles of the Giants throughout the course of a season. The Giants always start out hot. This is what they do. They start out the season 6-1, 6-2, 6-3, and then they start to bog down before turning it back up at the end of the season. So if you're the Cowboys, you just want to stay close. Wait for that meltdown and then strike. That's what the Eagles look to do tonight. You had your shot to do it. You blew it. Now the Eagles have a chance to step up to the plate, get a win on the road, and stay within arm's reach of the Giants in the NFC East. You had a shot. You didn't take advantage of it. You go to 3-5 on the season. Now the Eagles have a shot to step into second place and stay within arm's reach of a Giants team that they already beat this season. So this is a big one for the Eagles. But the Cowboys don't get it done. They drop it 19-13, go to 3-5 on the season, and now they got to start winning football games, and they got to start winning them fast. And I was just speaking about the Eagles. That's going to be the Monday night matchup. But before I get to that, throw it up. That's our Sunday slate. That was the weekend that was. And so throw it up. That's a touchdown. And I want to tack on this quick extra point. Now, I went 11-2 over the weekend. I'm proud of myself. That was a stellar weekend. A little disappointed because I should have been 12-1 with an opportunity to win the football pool tonight. But, the Redskins let me down and the Giants let me down. So, two NFC East teams really stuck it to me yesterday. My own team, I was stabbed in the back and betrayed by my own team in the Redskins. And then the Giants just made matters worse by not getting it done in the 4 o'clock set of games. And so I lost one game in both the 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock games. And so I'm 11-2. I have a chance to go to 12-2 on the week. And this was an impressive week for me. I really felt good about my picks coming into the week. But I feel good about my picks every week. But to go out and actually get it done, vindication. It felt like vindication. It felt good. So this Eagles team has a chance to do something big. We just spoke about it. And that's get a win on the road against a team that's struggling in the Saints and get a step closer to the Giants in the division. This division by no means is done. It's not a foregone conclusion that the Giants are going to win this division. And for all the turmoil that the Eagles have been going through of late, they're one win away from getting back to 500 and being relevant in the NFC East race. I mean, one win can turn this thing around. Winning is the antidote that cures all in the National Football League. You're having problems with your quarterback? Win. You're having problems in your locker room? Win. Your head coach is talking about making changes? Win. Your head coach is talking about maybe retiring? Win. Your brass is talking about possibly firing your head coach? Win. All those things go away. Winning is the best smelling deodorant to cure funkiness that comes from losing. The stench of losing can be cured with the deodorant of winning. The winning deodorant, I'm telling you, you put that on, cures all. Smells great. Everything that happened in the past 3 weeks is forgotten. Win 3 games in a row. Who will be talking about what happened 2 months ago? Nobody. Win 3 games in a row. Win tonight against the New Orleans Saints. If you're the Eagles, win tonight on the road against a high-powered offense in the New Orleans Saints. Go on the road, get it done, see what happens. See how fast you become the new sneaky team, the new team that has a chance to make some moves. When just a week ago, you were dead in the water. Everyone had turned their back on you. You couldn't get it done. Is this it for Andy Reid? Does Michael Vick need to be benched? Do changes need to be made on the Eagles roster, on the Eagles coaching staff? Win tonight. All those questions will go away. And I think you can. I think you will. I have you winning this game because I don't trust the New Orleans Saints defense at all. They can't stop me and 10 of my buddies. We suit up and I get 10 of my buddies to go out on the football field. I feel like we can score 24 points against the New Orleans Saints defense. I feel confident. I feel like I can get open. I feel like I can get about 6 catches for about 80 yards and a touchdown against this Saints defense. I feel confident that this Saints defense can be had week in and week out. They're not a good defense at all. And it's a shame that they can't stop anybody. And so I expect the Eagles to be able to dominate them on the offensive end. But the Eagles have not been dominating anyone on offense. So this is going to be interesting. A struggling defense against a struggling offense. Who's going to prevail? And their defense has to step up. They were destroyed a week ago at home against the Atlanta Falcons. That offense of the Falcons went up and down the football field against the Philadelphia Eagles defense. They scored on 6 consecutive possessions to start the game. They didn't punt until the 4th quarter. So if you're the Eagles, this Saints offense can be just as devastating if you don't stop them. Drew Brees will go up and down the field on you and score points if you allow them to do that. So you have to do your part to help this team win. But I think that the Eagles can get it done. Their backs are against the wall. No one's on their side. No one's in their corner. They seem like they're down and out. That's when teams are their most dangerous. When everyone tells them you're finished, you don't have a shot. And you use that as a rallying cry in your locker room. You use that to band together everyone. And I think that's what the Eagles are going to do tonight on Monday Night Football. And I think they're going to get it done against the New Orleans Saints, who can't stop anybody on defense. Their defense is an atrocity. It is atrocious. It is the worst defense I've seen all season long. And I've seen some bad defenses. The Redskins' defense is right there. But the Redskins, they find a way to get stops sometimes. Seems like the Saints don't get stops at all. And, of course, I'm exaggerating. But, man, this Saints team, they give it up like no other. So, I think the Eagles can get it done on Monday Night Football. 27-23 over the Saints. Notching their record back to 500 at 4-4. Dropping the Saints to 2-6 on the season. So, that's going to do it for this program. I thank you for joining me. Again, these Monday episodes are always a little long because, you know, we got to go over the weekend that was and go slate skating. That's a lot to get to. But we did it. I had a fun time doing it. I really enjoyed these games over the weekend. Had a great time breaking them down for you. And so, thank you for joining me. I ask that you drop something in the inbox. InTheLabRoom@gmail.com is the inbox. I'm on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Twitter handle. I'm on Twitter. So like me on Facebook. In the Lab Room is the Facebook page. Or follow me on Twitter. And you can get the video by using either one of those methods, Facebook or Twitter, because I post all of my videos on those respective sites. Also, the most easiest way to access any of my videos is by subscribing to the YouTube page. And that is Louie T. L-O-U-I-E-T-E-E. And you just type it in. My page will pop up. You click on it and click the subscribe tab. You can't find it? Don't worry. Type in the Lab Room week, WK. And just pick a week. Week 1 through 9. One of the episodes will pop up. And this being the first episode of week 10. So you could put in 10 at this point. An episode will pop up. Click on it. Then you'll see Louie T. Click on that tab. Then click on subscribe. And you'll have every single video. And this video that I'm posting will be my 101st video. So I've eclipsed the 100 mark. Yay for me. 100 videos posted on YouTube. I've been busy. I've been at work, man. I've been on my grind. And I thank all of you for supporting me out there. I really appreciate your support and your love, and it's greatly appreciated, and it doesn't go unnoticed. And I thank you for tuning into the program and sending me emails and subscribing to the page and subscribing to the Louie T page as well. I just thank you for all the support that you've given me to this point, and I ask that you continue to support me. And I have a ball doing this. I enjoy doing this. This is my passion, and so I ask that you just continue to come along on the ride with me. And that's going to do it for this episode. Again, I thank you for joining me in the Lab Room on this Monday afternoon. Had a lot to get to. We got to it. And now we go to Monday night. Enjoy the football game. I think it's going to be a very entertaining game. I think it's going to be high octane, a lot of offense. And it's going to be a lot going on because these are two teams in flux right now. A lot of turmoil surrounding these two teams. So it's going to be, I think it's going to make for great theater. I think it's going to be a great game, and I think the Eagles are going to pull it out. But we'll see. Enjoy the game tonight. I'll come back tomorrow. We'll discuss the game, among other things. And hope to see you back here tomorrow, same time, same place. And as always, have a good one. See you tomorrow.